Hello folks, this is Singin' Toad, and today what I'd like to talk about is a brand new knife that I just got in, and I am super excited for this particular review, or unboxing I should say. It's not so much a review because I haven't really had any time to test the knife, but it's more of just an unboxing and first impressions video. But a little bit of backstory on this particular knife. I saw it well over a year ago, first featured on Greg Oven's channel, and I'll put his correct YouTube channel name down here somewhere. He introduced this knife on his channel over a year, almost a year and a half ago, and I went looking all over the internet trying to find one, could not find one anywhere for purchase. And I even went out and contacted the manufacturer via email. Didn't get anything back from them, and then a few months ago this knife became available on Amazon. I just suddenly noticed, because it was on my wish list, that it was back in stock, and I pulled the trigger and ordered one. And it took a little bit of time to get it to me, but nevertheless it arrived about a week ago, and I've been dying to get this review up. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get onto it. And what we have here is a brand spanking new Joker knife. Now you can thank the shipping people for sending it to me. The box damaged, but I can assure you the knife is not damaged at all. But just quickly show you the box here, and it's not going to really fit in frame. I do apologize, but I'm just going to try my best to show you all angles. So it's the model CM125P, and of course being in span, and there's nothing on the back side. The box is a little bit beaten up, but that's just the way it was shipped to me. So anyway, any guesses as to what this might be? Well, it'll be in the title. But anyway, yes, this is the Joker Nomad. So let's go ahead and take that off. And what do we have in here? We have a knife. Look at that. And it's wrapped in a plastic bag. So let's go ahead and get that out. And what we'll do real quick is just set that off to the side. And what is inside the box is we have some paracord. I believe this is 550, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's like a paracord of some sort. And then we have a striker, which is on a thinner type of paracord. So that might be 330 paracord. So that's what's inside the box. Back to the knife itself. Go ahead and get that out of its wrapper. So we have the brand spanking new Joker Nomad, and we have this little card here. So for those of you who want to read that, you can just freeze frame what you have. Okay, so anyway, we have a nice leather sheath. It is sort of a dangler style belt loop. It does have these quick release button snaps. Now I do have another Joker knife, the Joker Ember, and it has like a better dangler design sheath. I actually like its sheath design better, but what I do like is the fact that it has a button snap for quick release. So the nice thing about the design of this sheath is that, if you're like me, you're a hunter or fisherman, outdoorsman, you can easily take this knife, put it on, take it off with ease without having to, take your belt off and take your pants off and whatever else you have to do. Well, you shouldn't have to take your pants off, but you know what I mean. So I like this, that it, you can easily get that on and off without having to undo your belt, and that's a beautiful thing. Has a drain hole in the bottom. Very, very thick leather. Of course, it's got the Joker logo embossed in the leather here. Of course, it's got the ferrocerium rod. Let's go ahead and just take that out real quick. So, of course, it says Joker right there, and of course, it's in the same material as the handle, the black with red. And of course, this is brand spanking new, so I haven't had any opportunity to get out and use this knife at all. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull the actual knife out. So, as you can see, it's a pretty good size. So yeah, look at that, eh? Isn't that beautiful? So as you can see, Joker Nomad, and then we have, I don't know if the camera wants to focus here. I'll focus down there. So what that does say is Bowler N695 Spain, and I think that's AB in a shield there, and I think that that shield has something to do with the area and where this knife is made in Spain, from what I understand. Some nice jimping on the back. And then, of course, on this side, you have the maker, J. Sabater, which, of course, my Joker Ember has the exact same, says the same thing on that side as well. I love the handle. Now this knife does come in a couple of different handle options. There's a couple different micarta options and a wood, or is it two different woods? And I forget all the different options, but there's a few different options available. If you go on Amazon.ca, you can see all the different options. There was at least 2 or 3 that were there. I went with this one because this is the one that was most appealing to me. But now, for me, this knife is 2 firsts. It is first in the blade steel. So, again, the camera doesn't want to focus, but it does say a Bowler N695. And from the research that I've done, basically what this blade steel is it is like a new and improved 440C, or it's, what was going on here? So anyway, it's these guys are paddling uphill, upriver. Anyway, so Bowler N695 is like a new and improved 440C, and 440 carbon is actually a good blade steel. You know, it's not a super steel. It's, you know, it's not an S45 or a 20 CV, but it is still a very tough, durable blade steel, and very, very good for knives of this nature. This guy's pretty thick too. So that's a first for me. So it's a new blade steel. I'm not very familiar with this blade steel. And also, it is a full convex grind. So for the eagle-eyed viewer of you, you may have already realized that there's no secondary bevel on this. And you might think, is this thing dull? No, this thing is very, very sharp. Very sharp. This thing came razor sharp out of the box. I mean, hair-whittling sharp out of the box. I was actually surprised by how sharp this thing actually was out of the box. And like I said, it's that full convex grind. So probably not going to be able to see it here very well on the camera, but it's almost like a boat hull. You know, the way it kind of curves up to you know, this way up to the edge. So, and you know, there are many tools out there that have that exact same type of grind, like an axe, for example. So, you know, for batoning through wood and things like that, I mean, this knife's going to be super easy for that purpose. So, very quickly, I'm just going to do some size comparisons, because we have to do the obligatory size comparison. So let's just put that right there. And, well, let's go ahead and compare it against my other Joker knife, which is the Ember. So actually, let me just bring him up a little higher here. So there's the Ember. And obviously you can see the family heritage. Now I do want to just say that, you know, the Ember is a Scandi grind, and, you know, the Ember's a fairly thick knife, you know, for what it is. But when you compare it against the Nomad, sorry, you can see just how much thicker the Nomad is. And obviously the Nomad's larger. So, you know, this is kind of the Ember's big brother. And, I mean, you can see that the Ember fits completely inside the profile. And I mean, the Ember's an excellent little knife. Oh, and I wanted to just quickly mention about the sheath of the Ember. This style of sheath. I like this better than that. Personally, I'd rather have this design of sheath, but can't have everything, can we? What else are we going to compare it against real quick? So we're going to compare it against the Canadian belt knife, or the Groman Canadian belt knife. So you can just get an idea here. What else do we got? Let's put it against a big boy. It's a big knife, so let's compare it against another big knife. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Alright, so here we go. We have a cold steel SRK. Now the SRK is longer. This has a 5-inch blade, and this guy's got a 6-inch blade. Blade thickness, actually, these are probably pretty close to each other. I'm not sure who's thicker. They look about the same. And we'll just do a folding knife comparison. So we'll put this up against, let me just get that lanyard out of the road. And last but not least, we'll put up against the Spyderco Delica. So that's just some quick size comparisons, just to give you an idea of the size for reference. And I'm also, at this point in time, going to just go ahead and put my little tape measure up there to remind myself to start listing some specs. Actually, you know what? I'll put that over here. I'll put the specs over on this side. Alright, let's just rearrange some things around here. So, what I wanted to just quickly mention here is, why did I get this knife? And as I kind of mentioned originally, I originally saw this on Greg Oven's video, and I liked the design of the knife, and I really wanted to get it. Unfortunately, I couldn't, so I wound up buying and getting the Ember instead, which is, by the way, an excellent knife, and this knife, by the way, has showed up on Greg Oven's channel as well. Okay, but this particular knife has an interesting purpose that is an interest to me, and that is it's a great all-around camp knife. I've been interested in getting a full convex grind for a long time, and you know, when I found that this knife came in a convex grind, I was like, you know what, I want to try this. What I also like about the design of this knife is the way the handle is back from the edge. A lot of camp knives, when you use them around the camp, are not good for doing food prep. For example, a Scandi grind knife like this, especially one that's this thick, is not very good for doing food prep. I mean, it can get the job done, and I mean, you know, yes, you could use this knife to skin out a deer or prepare food and things, but you know, it's not best suited for that. This type of a design is best suited for carving, woods work, you know, or woods crafting. So this is just a better all-around camp knife. It's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit longer, just gives you that little bit more reach. It has a full 90-degree spine, which is what I like for striking a ferro rod. It's got some jimping. This knife can take some punishment. It's made out of a tough, durable steel. And it's just a well-designed knife, and I really like the shape of this handle, and it just feels great in the hand, you know. Now, I can say this much: there is two things that I'm not overly happy with, okay, and the first one is the thickness of the blade steel. That to me, you know, I just feel like it's a little overbuilt. I personally would like a little bit thinner, okay. In fact, I think the thickness of this guy would be ideal for this one, personally. So I like the thickness of this, but in this knife. And because as I said in my original Joker video when I reviewed this one I felt was too thick for this design of knife. So the first thing is the thickness of the blade stock. I'm not really happy with that. And as I mentioned, the sheath. You know, I would rather the dangler style. You know, just to throw this guy back in, I'd rather this style of sheath, okay? And that's really my only two complaints with the knife. Everything else, so far, I really, really like. And, you know, when I do get the opportunity to take this knife out and put it through its paces, you know, I'll come back with with another video where I've done that. So this is just more of an initial unboxing. You know, my first impressions of the knife. So far, I like it, and I'm really happy with it. And I paid, I think, 140 Canadian dollars for this knife. As of right now, I'm happy with that. I say it's well worth the money. Okay, but again, I'll come back with a more extensive report on this knife after I've had some time to really work with it. Okay. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Thanks very much for watching. Singing Toad signing out.